Hello. As I find myself walking here on Joy Road, I'm feeling called to remind you, whoever's watching this, that at any moment in time, any place that you find yourself, you can choose to put on the perceptive lens to see your life and reality symbolically, metaphorically, as though it was a book or a movie. Now, if you were reading a book about a man named Carl, me, Carl being etymologically rooted in the the name Charles, meaning one who is free. And that being myself was walking on Joy Road towards Joy Woods, you could have a particular literary interpretation of that, a metaphorical, symbolic analysis of what's going on here in this story, in this exact chapter, in this exact moment of the story. Well, God intentionally designed my life so as to make this moment defined by Joy Woods, Joy Road, and my name, Carl, one who is free. And as you walk through the world, oh my goodness, there's cars coming. I'm gonna pause. Pew. So as you walk through the world, the symbols are absolutely everywhere. Over there, you might see it, is either an eagle or a raven flying. A Subaru just drove by that has a logo with, what is the star system? The Pleiades on its logo, I believe. And so if I was to read a book and there was like a Pleiadian symbol that passed as one who is free is speaking of the road of joy, I might associate that self with the eagle or the raven, whatever bird that was, flight, and the Pleiades, a cosmic voyager. And this is how I walk through reality. I have this lens of perception at almost all times. And when I'm walking through a city, for example, and I witness the brands, the marketing, the advertising, and they have particular messages or codes that are hidden within them, or symbols, I pay attention, and the universe speaks to us about what is happening here through these symbols. I am one who has a particular lack of affinity for cities, something I'm working to alchemize, so as to see that there is still some beauty within cities in spite of the concrete and silicon trying to take over life. Oh no, I can't flip it. So, yeah, as one who walks through cities sometimes, I pay attention to the symbols there, and it's often like I was in Montreal and there was an old bank building next to a church, like each was taking a corner, and then the third building on the third corner had a puppet with strings, and then it said controlled illusions. Like, dude. What else have I seen? I don't know, I can't and don't particularly care to think of such things right off the top of my head right now. But the point is to just pay attention and to be creative with it, and to simply be aware that you can choose to perceive reality in this way whenever you want to. And it can be a very helpful perceptive lens. One other example, I was at a Christmas gathering last year, not this year, with an old beloved angel with whom I was graced to share about a year of my life or so. And her daughter received a present which was literally called a devil's trick. Like, and it was just these little gifts, like prank gifts made of plastic, whoopee cushions, those gums that you pull out and they snap your finger. Embodiments of like pure wasteful consumption that probably is now in the trash or at Goodwill or something and will never be used again unless it does get used. But like, yeah, the hyperconsumptivity of Christmas being itself a devil's trick, with Santa being an anagram for Satan, living on top of the world, all this stuff. He knows when you're sleeping, when you're awake. So, wherever you are on this journey, it's just good to, like, there's a sign right there that says organic, please don't spray. Like, please just keep us organic. Keep us as we are, and we'll take care of you. And reality will speak to you. And the more you listen, and the more you observe, and the more you feel, the more you'll notice things being said, and you'll be able to follow the signs and discern between the ones which are like speaking of illusions and the ones which are guiding to truth. I feel like I'm certainly not the only one who has this perceptive ability coming online, but I have been living within that realm for quite some time now, since 2020, when I read Carl Jung. And that really opened me to that. But you don't have to read Carl Jung. All you have to do is read the world and read yourself as you are placed in the world. Where do you live? What are the street signs? What are some of the signs saying around the place that you live? And I'm digressing a little bit, but it's fun, so it's perfect. I was in Italy back in the days when I was every now and again imbibing in that green substance called cannabis, among many other names. And I was just very, very high. And walking by this like plastic container, one of those road cones or whatever it is, that had water in it and plants growing out of it. We're walking by with my friends and I'm just like, whoa, look at that. And my friend is just like, dude, what are you talking about? So that's not to say that everything I'm talking about is just some weird stoner way of looking at the world. In fact, it's not. I've only looked at it in a more refined way since 2020, as I said, and I haven't smoked in that time, nor imbibed in substances. This is an organic form of perception, which would exist without any of the concrete, without any of the written word that we put all over the earth and all the symbols. Like, we would still be able to communicate symbolically with this living, breathing language of the earth and her sacred beings and God's sacred beings. Yeah, and that's why the language of myth is so universal and potent and such a divine reflection of who each of us is as a human being and who each of our communities and cultures also are as collectives. Universal truth is absolutely everywhere, and the truth is here to set you free from all of the systems of illusory control which will try to convince you that you are imprisoned. You can never be imprisoned. You can only be free. That's it. Bye-bye.